Welcome to Pop Cult, where we talk reality TV, celebrity chaos, and pop culture throwbacks. Hello, everybody. Welcome back to Pop Cult. I'm Avery.
And I'm Julia.
And we are your host. You sounded so sad.
I did?
Yes! You literally sounded like you said, and I'm Julia.
I didn't mean to.
I'm dead. That was hilarious. Anyways, we are your hosts. We post 2 episodes every week. On Tuesdays, we do our reality digest episodes where we cover many reality TV shows. There's really no telling how many we're going to be doing every week. We have recently rolled in the Traitors. We are pre-recording this, but I'm sure we are enjoying it. I'm just going to go ahead and guess.
Yeah.
On Thursdays, which is today, we do our Fame Files episodes, which are little pop culture throwbacks about various scandals or stories or events that happened with celebrities or public figures, reality TV stars. Really could be anything. And today, our Fame Files topic is the bling ring. Do you know anything about this?
No, I have no idea what this is.
You've never heard of it? There was a movie made about it, so I wondered if with
no.
Emma Watson in it.
No, I've never. Emma Watson?
Mm-hmm.
Well, I probably would like it then.
I know. I've never watched it, and I didn't watch it for this either, but I think I touch on it a little bit. But this is kind of a crazy story. It's like, I don't know. It almost sounds like something you'd make up in a movie plot, so it probably made a good movie, but we'll have to watch it and then report back on.
It's on HBO.
Is it? Tea. Well, we will just jump right into it. It should be the end of January by the time this episode's coming out. And can I just say, January is the longest month of the freaking year.
Oh yeah, it's the longest month of the year, and then every other year.
It is
every other month is like really super fast.
Yeah, but not January. Not January. She's always gonna drag out. All right, well, let's just jump into it. What was the bling ring? I'm sure you're all wondering. I know Julia is.
Desperately, I don't know.
Of course. I know you were just on the edge of your seat waiting for this episode. The bling ring was a group of 7 mostly teenagers and a couple adults, like kind of semi-adults, very new adults in California who broke into the homes of celebrities and robbed them between late 2008 and mid 2009.
Oh, sick. Okay. Cool.
They were dubbed the Bling Ring. I'm not sure who gave them that name. Like, I don't know if that happened when the movie came out or if this was something that, like, the media was calling them. But they were basically a friend group who targeted Hollywood and Calabasas-based homes. By the end of their run, they had committed dozens of break-ins and had stolen nearly $3 million in cash and stolen items from these celebrities. You might be wondering, who did they rob? Because if it's big celebrities, I always felt like this did not get enough press based on like who they robbed. The people whose homes they broke into and stole from were Paris Hilton, Orlando Bloom, and by proxy his girlfriend at the time, Miranda Kerr or Kerr. Do you know? I think it's Kerr.
I don't know.
Lindsay Lohan, Brian Austin Green, and by proxy Megan Fox, who was his girlfriend at the time. I think she was living with him. Rachel Bilson and Ashley Tisdale, who has actually been in pop culture news recently. I don't know if you've
she
seen
was
that.
Literally just in a little bit of a scandal.
It's kind of ongoing too. I'm interested to see how it's going to net out. Maybe it's a future episode. You never know.
I was just watching Meghan Trainor's dumbass TikTok about it, using her own song to like dub over it. Oh my god.
Meghan Trainor is so chuggy. And I want to like her so bad because I think she and her husband's relationship is really genuine. But like she just like is so, she's like an adult JoJo Siwa. I know JoJo Siwa is an adult, but like, you know what I mean.
She's adult.
Yeah. She's millennial JoJo Siwa. This group of teenagers was doing this for about a year by the time that they got caught.
These are like big name celebrities. These are like not small people.
I know. That's kind of what I've always thought too, is like Paris Hilton.
Like Paris Hilton is crazy.
And I listened to Paris Hilton's book when it came out, and I do not remember her mentioning this. Oh, maybe she did. I don't know. I want to listen to it again because eventually we'll do an episode on her, but I don't think she mentioned it. But you may be thinking, who are these criminal masterminds that robbed all of these A-list celebrities? Who's getting away with this? This is on the level of the Louvre heist.
Mm-hmm.
Not really, but
Not really.
I'm just, whatever.
Close.
There were 7 total members of the Bling Ring. The alleged ringleader of all this was a 19-year-old girl named Rachel Lee. Rachel came from a home of divorced parents. She had a very bad relationship with her dad, who was a professional gambler. Didn't know that was a thing. No, I thought that was a hobby.
Yeah, I don't.
And something that's kind of sad is that after she was like caught for this crime, her mom eventually had to like move them out of their home and into like a tiny apartment to be able to cover Rachel's legal costs.
Sucks.
Because reminder, she was 19, so I'm sure she didn't have a job, and her job was robbing people. The second member was an 18-year-old girl named Alexis Haynes. She also goes by Alexis Neers. I'm not sure if that was her original last name or if that was her maiden name, but I'm going to refer to her as Alexis Haynes. During the time of the robberies, she said that she was a full-blown heroin addict and that it was a very dark time in her life. So with Alexis in particular, heavy drug use was involved. Mm-hmm. The third member was a 19-year-old boy named Nick Prugo. He actually did an interview with Good Morning America after his arrest where he said, "I don't think any of us realized how severe it was until we actually got caught. It didn't seem as bad as it was." So those 3 I would say are like the main ones, the ones that we know the most about that have, you know, spoken out the most. The other 4 members were an 18-year-old girl named Courtney Ames, a 19-year-old named Diana Tomeo. I'm not sure his age, but another one of them was a boy, I don't really know, named Johnny. I don't know if it's a jar or a har, but he was recruited by another member to fence Paris Hilton's jewelry. He was already an ex-con and a cocaine dealer. He was dating Courtney at the time, so he was a career criminal at this point. Another was Roy Lopez, who was 27 years old at the time, and he was also supposedly recruited by Courtney. So those are our involved parties. So how did this whole scheme start? At the time, Rachel was abusing Xanax and just generally causing a lot of problems within her household and her life in general. She was actually attending a school for kids who had issues staying the course through traditional high school. Like I think she had been like expelled from her high school. And that's where she met Nick. They bonded because Nick was gay and Rachel felt like she didn't fit in because of her Korean background. So they kind of bonded because of their just feeling a little bit outcasted and like maybe they didn't feel that they had a place. But I mean, obviously they were a terrible influence on one another and started their criminal careers looking for loose change and cash.
I love when we take to a criminal.
Right. Because they were having a hard time in high school, so they said, let's rob criminals. Let's rob people. That's crazy. But also, it should be mentioned, no teenager starts doing that without poor, terrible parental supervision, you know? Yeah. Not always, but like generally that's a factor. And clearly they had been like, I don't know if this was a boarding school, but like clearly they had been like sent off to some type of school, which is actually interesting thinking about this now because it kind of makes me wonder if the reason that they had an interest in Paris Hilton was because that was her experience.
Maybe.
Like now that I think about it, Paris Hilton was like a troubled teen and she got sent to a wilderness camp. Very traumatizing, probably different than where these 2 kids were sent, but just had that thought. Perhaps that had something to do with why they picked her.
Maybe.
We actually do know why they picked her. I think I get into it in a second. Obviously, they were a terrible influence on each other. Nick started robbing people because he needed a way to pay for his drug addiction. And basically the way that they would do this is Nick would drive them around and Rachel would like stick herself out the window to check car doors as they drove by.
That sounds safe to me.
Right. I'm assuming they did it that way so that people weren't like, why are these random kids just walking around checking everyone's doors? But I don't know if that would be any more incognito than what they did.
I think so.
At this point, they started scouting celebrity homes and tracking trends of who may be out of town based on, like, if they had mail in their mailbox or not, then they knew that a celebrity was, like, out of town. And they also robbed, like, some non-celebrities before deciding that they were gonna hit the celebs.
They had to build up to the big ones.
Truly. It was a progression, definitely. They began with like breaking and entering and then kind of collected people along the way to their little group of criminals. Nick, Rachel, Diana, and Alexis actually all went to this high school together. It was called Indian Hills High School because they were kicked out of their regular schools. So that's how the 4 of them met. Rachel is widely thought of, though, as the mastermind behind their crimes, and she obviously has said that she would change her decisions. Like, they were very young, too old to, like, old enough to know better, but I do think, like, learning a little bit more about them, I will give them the benefit of the doubt. They said that they hit Paris Hilton's house first because they apparently thought that she was dumb, and they did find her front door key under a mat, which is, like, what? That's crazy for her to have a front door key under a mat. I guess this is very,
like, a really long time ago, but wow.
I know. It definitely is. It's just like, and I do not personally think that Paris Hilton is dumb at all. That is a dumb move.
Leaving your key? Yeah.
Yeah. I mean, it's kind of like that age-old thing of, like, well, I shouldn't have to worry about leaving a key because people just shouldn't break into my house, but, like, we just can't have them.
You can't think like that.
Of course. They also apparently hit her home multiple times. Like, it was not a one and done. They went back.
They just kept the key.
Yeah. Oh my God. Can you imagine? Can you imagine someone's like, oh, what's this key for? And you're like, to Paris Hilton's house. Crazy. Nick and Rachel were the two that robbed Paris for the first time in October of 2008. In total, they robbed her 5 times. She finally reported a robbery December 19th, 2008.
Did she just not notice the first 4 times?
Yeah, like, she literally didn't notice.
That's crazy.
Yeah. She finally reported a robbery December 19th, 2008, when Roy Lopez stole $2 million in jewelry from her. They also stole, among the course of the 5 times they broke into her house, Birkin bags, bras, designer clothes, and even like topless photos from her safe. I'm not sure how they got into the safe.
Okay.
Nick says that they also used cocaine that they found in her home, but she has denied that she ever had cocaine in her home.
Sure, Paris.
I'll leave that up to you guys to decide whether you think she's telling the truth. Nick, Rachel, and Diana. See, what's interesting about this, like, I keep reading their names because there's, like, different crews of people who robbed different people's homes.
Okay. I do feel like 7 would be, like, just, like, too big of a group, like, too noticeable.
I know. And just, like, too many opportunities to get caught, you know, which they eventually do, clearly. Nick, Rachel, and Diana robbed Lindsay Lohan on August 23rd, 2009. They stole $130,000 in jewelry and clothes from her.
Wow.
It has been said that allegedly Lindsay Lohan was Rachel's style icon.
That doesn't mean you can rob her, Rachel.
Right, and that's why she, like, picked Lindsay, but one of Lindsay Lohan's coats and a necklace were found in I think Rachel's home, but definitely one of their homes. Then on July 13, 2009, Alexis, Rachel, Nick, and Diana robbed Orlando Bloom by cutting a hole in his security fence and sneaking in through a door that was unlocked, like probably a back door or like a sliding door maybe. They took $500,000 in clothing, Louis Vuitton luggage, Rolexes, and art. That's what I would steal. If I were going to rob a celebrity, I would steal art.
Yeah.
Personally. And maybe a Birkin. Apparently, Nick was wearing one of Orlando Bloom's shirts when he was arrested. Isn't that funny?
Mm-hmm.
Like, this whole thing, very serious crime, obviously. But it is a little funny. Like, when you realize that nobody was physically hurt, you know? But I can assume, I mean, obviously getting robbed is very traumatizing. Like, I would never... But it's just like, these kids are just insane, you know? Miranda Kerr was living with Orlando Bloom, and Nick said that part of the reason that they chose to rob him was that Rachel wanted a Victoria's Secret model's clothing. So that's why they picked him.
Okay.
At the time that they robbed Brian Austin Green and Megan Fox, they were dating and living together when Nick and Rachel robbed them of Megan's clothes because Rachel wanted her clothes. And also, this is where it's kind of scary, they took a handgun.
Where did they find that?
I guess, like, in a safe or something, or in a drawer maybe.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, not unheard of that, like, a big celebrity would have a gun, like, for safety, but scary that they took it. Nick, Rachel, and Alexis robbed Rachel Bilson on May 9th, 2009. They robbed her so many times, and at this point were so comfortable with what they were doing. Rachel literally took a shit in her bathroom during one of the robberies.
Oh my God. Okay.
How disturbing is that?
Little weird.
Outside of taking a shit, they also took a Marc Jacobs bag, which was found by police after their arrest, but they, all in all, what they took from Rachel Bilson totaled $130,000 in bags, makeup, and jewelry, and in total they robbed her 6 times. Rachel Bilson has spoken on the robberies, and she said that the most offensive part was that they had robbed her so many times that Rachel Lee literally used her bathroom. She's like, all I can hope for is that they learned their lesson, but that's crazy.
Yeah, that is a little crazy. And they're like comfortable enough to do that. Yeah.
On February 22nd, 2009, Nick and Rachel robbed Audrina Patridge, who was a reality star on The Hills. They took $43,000 in jewelry, clothes, a laptop, and her passport.
Bruh, what are you gonna use her passport for?
I know. She says that she got nothing back that was stolen and that they took trash bags of stuff because they knew that she was at an Oscars party because she had tweeted about it.
Yikes, first mistake. When did they rob Ashley Tisdale?
Truly. So apparently they never actually robbed her because they were seen by someone in her house before they could, but they
Terrifying, because that can have been like murder.
Literally. But Nick says that they also did scope out the homes of other stars like Zac Efron, Miley Cyrus, Vanessa Hudgens, Hilary Duff, and they would keep track of when these people would be out of town via TMZ and Twitter, and would look at the homes on Google Earth to decide like where they should enter.
Literally, like, we have way too much access to celebrities' lives. I'll just say that.
100%.
Like, why do you think they live in gated communities?
Right, that's why they live in Calabasas. Diana was so tiny that she could literally fit through the doggy doors in these people's homes.
Wild.
So you might be wondering the specifics about how they got caught, because shockingly, a group of teenagers are not criminal masterminds. They were arrested in 2010. They were caught on Audrina Patridge's security camera. Audrina Patridge was a reality star on the show The Hills. She had a security camera installed outside of her home.
Did none of these other people have security cameras?
I don't know. Genuinely, I have to chalk it up to the fact that this was like 2008, 2009.
Maybe they weren't really a thing yet.
Yeah, and like I guess maybe they probably also lived in gated communities.
True, so they just like felt safer.
Yeah. Her security cameras picked up these kids scouting her home. So like the police had this footage. Audrina actually posted the footage from her security cameras online, but then they weren't actually stopped until the kids were picked up on Lindsay Lohan's security cameras, and that's when the authorities got a better look at their faces. So the LAPD, but obviously they still don't know who they are, so the LAPD sends Lindsay Lohan's security footage to TMZ to circulate it, and then they also got a tip about Nick and Rachel being at a party bragging about what they had done.
Ooh, who did the tip? That's what I want to know.
I guess somebody who saw the footage, you know, like they probably were just like a random person at a party that they met, and then they saw the TMZ footage and were like,
that's such tea. Like, imagine figuring that out.
No, truly. I like, honestly, my dream one day is to be somebody who gives like a tip to the police about a crime. Maybe that's not my dream, because then that means that I would be witness to a crime. Never mind. I take that back. Not a snitch, an anonymous tipper. Nick Prugo was the first to be arrested, and he pled no contest to burglarizing Lindsay Lohan and Audrina Patridge's homes. He served 1 year of a 2-year jail sentence. What is with people getting out early? Genuinely, when there is no question that they committed the crime, I do not understand why people are getting out early. This doesn't make sense to me.
What does no contest mean? Just like guilty?
Yeah, like I'm not gonna
I'm not gonna like fight back
on this. Alexis Haynes pled no contest to a felony charge for robbing Orlando Bloom's house and only served 32 days in county jail out of her 180-day sentence. She received 3 years probation and $600,000 to pay in restitution to Orlando Bloom. She also entered a no contest plea to avoid a trial and a possible longer sentence. Rachel Lee served the longest and most time out of anyone involved. She served 16 months in state prison. Initially, she was sentenced to 4 years for robbing Audrina Patridge, but she was paroled on March 28th, 2013.
Like, when you get out early, I feel like you just like, not that you didn't get away with it, but I feel like that kind of gives a similar feeling of like you kind of did.
Yeah, it's like, well, this is, not the worst case scenario.
Yeah.
I think that their age definitely helped them. Like the fact that most of them were so young. Courtney Ames received 3 years of probation and 2 months of community service, so she didn't even go to jail at all or prison at all. Apparently, she showed up to court in a necklace that she stole from Lindsay Lohan.
Is she stupid?
That to me just goes to show that maybe there's a little something more concerning about her. Because that's like a crazy choice.
That's a little bit crazy, yeah.
Diana Tomeo also pled no contest, and she also only got 3 years probation, a little bit of county jail time, I think. I'm not sure how much. 60 days of community service. And she actually, there was another layer to her situation that I didn't find a lot about. I guess she wasn't a US citizen and she was seriously afraid that she would be deported after committing these crimes. Roy Lopez stole the most out of everyone. He stole $2 million from Paris Hilton and jewelry. She did end up getting it all back. He did get 3 years probation and time served for the 100 days that he had already been in jail since he was arrested. I think we were talking about maybe in when we were talking about the episode of the Kardashians where Kim's perpetrators got they had time served too. We were like, I wonder if we do that in the US. Apparently we do.
Yeah, I didn't know that.
Johnny Ahar was not included in the Bling Ring case, but he was sentenced separately to prison and only ended up serving 1 of 3 years.
Naturally.
So I think the reason that he wasn't is maybe because he was the one like
he was just like given the stuff. Yeah. Like, and theoretically he could have been lied to about where it came from.
So true. Basically he was like turning over the, the profit for them.
Yeah.
In terms of where all of these people are now, because like I said, they were like 18, 19, most of them when all this was happening. So they obviously still had a lot of life to live. Rachel Lee still lives in California, and she was quoted in 2018 saying, I truly feel prison was a blessing in disguise. The best thing that ever happened to me. It made me realize you can only trust yourself at the end of the day.
I'm just not sure that's what you should have learned from prison, but okay.
Right? I thought that was such a weird. When I was like writing this out, I was like, that is a really bizarre thing to say.
All you learned was to not trust anyone, and I'm like, okay.
And also, are you implying that somebody like on your little team ratted you out?
But I think that's exactly what she's implying.
Like, cause that's, I mean, I don't think you've learned your lesson, girl. If that's,
are you still robbing people? Like,
I think you might need to go back to prison, babe.
I wonder what she's doing for like work. Like, what's her LinkedIn? What does your resume look like?
Also, apparently, after Rachel was arrested, the detectives told her that they had talked to all of the celebrities that she robs, and her response was, "What did Lindsay say?"
I mean, fair. Can't blame her for that one.
Like, she's diabolical, you guys. Like, she's so chaotic, I can't even handle it. Nick Prugo is actually married now, and he runs some sort of online business with his husband. In 2022, he applied for a rehabilitation certification and a pardon from the governor.
Pardon for what? Did he get a record? I mean, I guess.
Yeah, like to clean up,
to clean his priors.
Yeah, so that it's not like on his record for the rest of his life. Which I mean, noble thing to apply for. Like I didn't even know that was a thing, and I'm sure it's a lot of work and effort. So props to him for that. He has said that he always was kind of a wild child, but he never thought he quote would reach the level of criminality that he did. He was a bad kid and was a little crazy and like he said,
he was also probably
child.
like really dragged into it a lot. Like he definitely wasn't the mastermind.
Yeah, I think he probably was impressionable. That being said, I mean, him and Rachel were the same age at this point, so there's something to be said about that. But it's not like he was like years younger than her. But yeah, I think he really just didn't realize that. I think sometimes when you're younger, you don't realize the severity of something that you're doing.
Yeah.
Even something that is a blatant crime. They didn't, he's not considering the fact that he could have literally been like murdered had he walked into somebody's house and they had a gun type thing.
Yeah,
so,
for real.
Just like
or like he could have ended up accidentally killing somebody.
Absolutely.
Because they like stole a gun.
Absolutely. 100%. Against the advice from his lawyers, Nick did go on Good Morning America in 2010. Good Morning America is always in our episodes.
That sounds like a great decision to make.
He was quoted saying, I don't think any of us realized how severe it was until we actually got caught. I'm trying to take responsibility for my part and just let the world know and the victims know that I'm sorry. I believe him. However, he does have... I just had to put this in here. I'm not really sure what to think about all this. It's very strange. In 2015, he was charged with stalking and solicitation to commit sexual assault.
What is with this?
His 2015 charge was specifically stalking and soliciting rape against an esthetician named Dawn DeLuise. She claimed that he harassed her family and also framed her for a murder plot against another salon owner. And allegedly, he posted her name and address on Craigslist where he was looking for men to rape her.
That is an insane thing to hear. I do not understand a single word of what you said. That's crazy.
I was like jaw on the floor as I was writing this. Like I did not even know that this was a thing. I mean, there's so much going on here. Stalking, framing for murder, soliciting sexual assault. Like what is happening here? I am like dying to know the details behind this because everything else that I've read about Nick seems like he has really like done the work to better himself since.
I feel like that's insanely out of character.
I know. I mean, okay, I will say he did end up taking a plea deal, but the rape charges were dropped, and ultimately he only had to do 350 hours of community service and 3 years of probation for the stalking.
So he admitted guilt.
So, yes, but the worst part of it, which in my opinion is the rape charges, were eventually dropped.
Okay.
But I have no idea. Like that could have just been because this poor woman's lawyer was like, you have a better chance of getting him if this isn't involved. Like you just have no clue.
That's insane. I hate that.
I know. But currently now he is still living in LA with his husband, and like I said, they run an online business together. When Alexis Haynes got out of jail, she went straight into a year of residential rehab for her heroin addiction as part of her sentence. She also says that her time in jail was the best thing that happened to her because of her drug abuse. She has talked about the fact that she was sexually abused as a child, which is what led to her drug abuse. And the interesting thing about her is that she actually had her own reality show prior to her 2010 arrest. It was a show on E called Pretty Wild, and the IMDb description is, I literally could not find like barely anything on it, but I did find the IMDb description. Chronicles the lives of socialite sisters Tess Taylor, Alexis Nears, and Gabby Nears as they make their way into the Hollywood social scene. So, ironically, she was cast for this show before she was caught.
I'm so confused. How? Like, does she come from money? How did she get out her own show?
Honestly, I don't know. All I know is that it was a show about her and her two sisters as they tried to launch their modeling careers. And after she was arrested, the show covered her trial.
I need to watch this.
I know. It was canceled after one season, I'm assuming because she literally got arrested and went to county jail. But in the show, she was apparently shown using drugs often.
Where would I watch this? I'm sure it's on nothing.
I genuinely have no, like, YouTube maybe. Somebody's probably, like, recorded it illegally and put it on YouTube. I will say she is now sober and has 2 children. As far as I know, she is like still sober. She works at an addiction recovery center in Malibu and also has a podcast called Recovering from Reality. And apparently she's also a doula.
Okay.
So she's got a lot going on for herself. She got married in 2012, and with her partner, she had 2 daughters. They were actually in an open relationship, but she ended up filing for divorce in 2022. Courtney Ames tried to change her last name in 2016, but I'm unsure if she was granted approval. She actually ended up going to college for psychology, speech, and child development. Not really sure what she's up to as of like recent years. Diana Tomeo is now a personal trainer and is also married. All that we have heard from Diana personally is a quote from a 2017 article where she says, "I have chosen not to talk to any media because I want that to be in my past, but I will say that my life has changed. I found God and starting to get my career with fitness and nutrition going. Thank you. Have a beautiful day."
Okay.
She's giving chaos. Roy Lopez now lives in Texas and works on an oil field, and I do not know what Johnny is up to. If I had to guess,
Okay, Johnny.
He might have gone back to prison.
Probably.
I hope not for his sake, but I don't really know anything about him. I didn't even like find a picture of him or anything. In 2013, Sofia Coppola made a movie about the events of the Bling Ring, and it was titled The Bling Ring.
Sophia.
She's like a director, I think.
Sounds so familiar.
I know, it did to me too. I'm not really sure why. It was very controversial just because of like I think the circumstances around how is she portraying these people. Like Alexis had even said about it at one point that it's trashy and inaccurate, but Paris Hilton actually allowed them to film in her home for the movie, and she felt very positively about it. So that's kind of insane.
That's so funny.
Paris Hilton is just such a mixed bag.
She directed Priscilla.
Sofia Coppola. I do feel like that's kind of her vibe. I don't know if you've ever seen Priscilla, but it's kind of like gritty, like I don't know. I didn't like that movie. I thought it was weird and boring, but I kind of feel like The Bling Ring had some of the same criticisms, and just like also the idea of glorifying this crime, I think could potentially have adverse effects on like young people watching the movie.
Okay.
Paris Hilton did not have anything negative to say about the movie, but she has said about the actual robbery, quote, "It's pretty bizarre. They were so obsessed that they just wanted to steal our lives. It's a scary world we're growing up in now. I've put an advanced security system with laser systems. Security guards are always there, and there are cameras everywhere."
Well, at least she's aware now.
I know. Some of the media has portrayed Alexis to be the ringleader, but obviously
But
we
it's
know that
Rachel, right?
it's definitely Rachel. But I think one of Alexis's biggest issues with the movie was that Emma Watson was like the star, and and she was portraying Alexis.
Okay.
Yeah.
Maybe it's just because Alexis is the one that's most in the limelight. Like, she had her own show, and she has maybe that's why they picked her, because
I
she's...
totally agree. I think that that's exactly why. But I can see also why Alexis would be like, "What the freak, you
Is her
guys?"
podcast, like, active right now? What was it called?
It is called
Recovering from Reality.
Yeah, Recovering from Reality. But like you said, Alexis is the one that we know the most about. And just in October of 2025, she shared her engagement photos to her soon to be second husband. So she seems to be doing well. She definitely is the one that we know the most about, and is still the most like vocal about, what they did and what she's been through. But yeah, that is the story of the Bling Ring.
It doesn't look like she's posted since 2023. Sad.
On her podcast.
Yeah.
Well, maybe I'll tag her in something, because honestly, I think
Bring it back. I haven't listened to it.
bring it back. Like, talk about, I don't know, promote your addiction recovery center, girl. Like, you're doing the Lord's work, honestly. I think that I also did listen to her briefly on like a podcast that she went on. I didn't listen to the whole thing, but I just think she's really like turned things around. And I think that there's something to be said for that. Like, she could have easily, continued down this path of using drugs and being like this wild child that lives in LA and is not making good decisions, but she really used her time in prison to get herself on a better path.
Mm-hmm.
And I think that all of these kids are lucky that they committed this crime when they were so young.
Oh my god,
Because
so lucky.
had they been a little bit older, I think this would have had a very different impact on their lives.
I'm now stalking Alexis's Instagram. She's gorgeous.
I know, isn't she? She is pretty.
I was expecting them to be like this whole crew to be so old now, but she looks so young. I guess because this like really just truly wasn't that long ago.
Is it Nears or Haynes?
Haynes. She's only
Yeah, she's
34.
even verified on Instagram.
Yeah.
Yeah, and like
her.
she has
Gotta stay updated.
She has two daughters that are like not super young, so good for her. Happy for you, Alexis.
I love her bang.
I liked doing this episode because I feel like it is one of the ones that is crime related but actually like has a pretty positive outcome.
Yeah, I agree.
So I hope everyone enjoys this episode.
I'm about to go watch this movie.
I know. Is it on Netflix?
It's on HBO.
I'm about to go watch it too. Next, so okay, we're recording this way in advance, but I'm pretty sure, forgive me if this changes, but I'm pretty sure that our next Fame Files episode is going to be our first celebrity deep dive, and we are doing, drumroll please.
I don't know how you want me to do a drum roll.
Julia never does a drum roll when I ask her to. Tyra Banks, everybody.
I just like won't be doing a drum roll. Like that's like
okay, whatever.
A little intense.
Okay. Anyways, go ahead and ruin my night, why don't you?
I'm really excited about Tyra Banks though. I love her.
Yes, me too. For anyone who does not know, I am an America's Next Top Model stan. I have seen every season of that show multiple times. Tyra Banks is like my hair icon. She can pull off any hairstyle and color. It's actually unbelievable. I'm obsessed with her. I know that there's been some Tyra Banks slander the last couple of years. I will not stand for it. There will be no slander. I will talk about her controversies, but I love Tyra Banks, and I genuinely think she is a pioneer of the reality TV space, because they were not making reality TV like they are now before ANTM.
She did kind of start it, yeah. I agree with that.
I totally agree. So I'm really excited to write that episode. And if anyone has any requests, please let me know.
Please. The Golden Globes are tonight. I wonder who's winning.
Oh, are they?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, we're recording this very early on in January,
Oh,
so.
sorry. Not to burst anybody's bubble.
No, I mean, me and Julia both have full-time jobs, so sometimes we just have to do things
We're
in
just
advance.
a little busy.
Yeah, it's fine. All right, everybody. We will see you on Tuesday for Reality Digest and the following Thursday for another Fame Files, of course.
Have a good rest of your week. We hope you get to gossip at least a little bit.
Yes, go forth and gossip. Send us some gossip if you see any.
Yeah, for real.
Peace and love. Ta-ta for now.
Bye.
Thank you so much for listening. We hope you enjoyed this episode, and we will see you next week for more pop culture chaos. The stories we cover are based on research and publicly available sources. While we strive for accuracy, some details may be disputed or unverified, and this episode is for entertainment and informational purposes only.